Hey, welcome to Couch Talk with Studdering Chuck
and Celebrimbor.
And today we will be reviewing Middle-earth, The Shadow of Mordor.
The Shadow of Mordor. Alright, where do we begin?
Well,
anywhere else than the story.
First point. It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
First point.
Freaking amazing. Freaking amazing story.
Perfect.
I mean, the biggest thing for me was the characters. You play as the character Talion. He is a ranger of Gondor. Oh, rolling my R's in good old Middle-earth talk. Mordor. Anyway, so you're playing as Talion, and you get your throat slit right in the beginning. No spoilers there.
Yeah. As you watch your wife and son also get their throat slit.
By the minions or pawns of Sauron. And if you don't know who Sauron is, read The Lord of the Rings. He is the Dark Lord of creation. There in the book, The Silmarillion, it goes into depth about how he was made and stuff. But I don't want to talk about that because it's fucking a huge book and it's dense as shit. As your family is being dispatched in front of you. The guy named the Black Hand of Sauron so graciously slits your throat. And in attempt to bring back the Ringmaker.
Yeah. And
this Ringmaker is none other than the famed Celebrimbor, myself. And when I heard Celebrimbor, I was like, oh, wait, I recognize that name. Flip the pages of the Silmarillion. Oh, he's actually in Lord of the Rings, which was pretty awesome. Being able to see him in action. I mean, he's not really talked about too much. He was the greatest artisan of the Second Age. That means nothing to a lot of people, so it's fantastic. I mean, the character is awesome. The setting itself.
It's pretty cool.
You are in 70s Detroit.
Yeah, that's what we've compared it to.
Yeah, because if you've seen Mordor in The Lord of the Rings, you see it all depressing. It's not very nice.
Filled with Ebola, just like Akron.
Just like Texas.
And...
Yeah, it's not too pleasant. It's not a place you'd want to go. Just like Detroit. However, you're not in that Mordor. You are in 70s Detroit. You are in a nicer Mordor. Still a little bit of green. Still a little bit of life.
Still hope.
Yeah, and your chances of death are only like 80% instead of 110%. Yeah. And it's the first time I've ever really looked at Mordor and was like...
It looks pretty nice.
Oh, hey. It's some green.
It's not as bad as I thought it'd be.
It's not like how they described it in frickin' Lord of the Rings. One does not simply just walk into Mordor. The very air is a toxic fume. Anyway, I've seen each of the Lord of the Rings films about 60 times now, so quoting that will not be a problem. The game itself is frickin' fantastic. The story is impeccably well crafted by the members of the Monolith team. I don't think Warner Brothers had anything to do with this game's story because it was good.
It was good, yeah.
If Warner Brothers had something to do with it, it's like, okay, why aren't there any guns? There's no guns. And where are the nude women? And the marginalizing, stereotypes. Where are those?
They don't. It seems to have been left out of the original draft for some reason.
Where's the shittiness? People are paying $60 for this. Where's the shitty?
I don't seem to find it here.
And Monolith was like, yeah, we decided to leave that out. And Warner Brothers was like, I don't think it's going to sell. I don't think people are going to like this.
I guess we'll produce it, but I don't think it's going to sell that much.
Moving to the more lengthy portion is the gameplay. Which, the gameplay, Chuck, you did not find so amusing.
Yeah, I didn't... At first... The first time I played it, I sat down for a couple hours, and I was doing the combat. I was just like, this combat just doesn't feel right. It feels very weird. You're always fighting a bunch of orcs at once when at first it feels like you're only meant to fight one orc at a time. Yeah. That you're always fighting like a horde of orcs.
Yeah.
As you go along in the game, you get upgrades that allow you to take on these hordes, and it helps a lot.
I feel like there's a stealth aspect to the game, and I feel like they've kind of pushed it a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "You're a ranger, you're stealthy, be stealthy, give me stealthy." and there's these forced stealth missions that are just like freaking stupid because it's like, if one orc sees you, the mission's over. It's like, what are you gonna do? Call for backup if an orc sees you? It's not like you're in there with a team of rangers. It's like you're gonna, regardless of what happens, you're gonna be fighting these orcs by yourself. The AI is pretty retarded sometimes too. You can walk up to an orc and just be like, "I'm gonna slit your throat real quick." So but at the same time they're orcs, so I don't know if they're like, I don't know if they're just gonna be like, "Hey, look over there! He's our ranger." No,
that's just a bush.
That's just a bush. Back to what we were doing. Give me some grog.
Back to walking around. That's all they seem to be doing in this game. That's all.
Back to walking around. Or like patronizing slaves. Like standing above slaves, just like, I'm better than you. Anyway. Yeah, the gameplay though, it's well paced. It doesn't give you too much at once. It's never just like, here are 7 abilities. It's going to make every enemy obsolete. The games that this combat system is modeled off of, like Assassin's Creed, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. You notice that these perks and these in combat and in battle kind of like abilities really change combat, and the game really forces you to make, to be creative. It's the first time I've ever experienced a game where it was like, you have to approach every combat situation differently.
Like it's a new situation.
Because there's guys with big shields, big towering shields. There's ranged guys. It's strategic to take out the ranged guys so you're not getting pelted with arrows from behind, during your excursions against these orcs. There's berserkers who you can't just fight head on. You got to stun them and then fight them. So the game really forces you, and throwing these different combinations of different enemies at you, it always feels fresh in a neat way, and you're always like being forced to create these new situations and new ways of going about combat.
Which is why I like how they kind of sectioned it off into 3 weapons that you have. You have your sword, you have your stealthy dagger, and then you have your ranged bow.
And the bow, you go into the Wraith world to shoot the bow, which is really cool. It slows down time, you have focus, and you're just like...
It's really awesome.
And enemies kind of illuminate and stuff, which is really cool. And being in the Wraith world altogether is really sweet.
Cool, you
slip into the Wraith world and enemies light up, and certain items or findable things light up. Those giant forge towers light up in the sky, and you're like, dude, this is sweet. It feels like a different experience from the actual realm of Mordor. The highlight of the game for me is the Nemesis system, which they created specifically for this game, the guys at Monolith. They decided to create a procedurally based enemy system based on the captains, war chiefs, elite war chiefs, the master super awesome captains and stuff like that. Basically what it is, they have a gigantic list of different names. Kugu Ugu, Barfa, Narta, different names and different occupations almost. There's one guy...
The one-eyed, the other guy, like there's one that's like the step brother.
Then there's the butcher, there's the poet. A guy will actually rhyme to you. He's like... I like to kill. It's such a thrill. My dagger make you ill. I'm just like,
that's cool. That's awesome.
Well, shit.
Start beatboxing with the Ark Army. Sing a coog.
The cool thing is that these orcs, Italian can't die. He's been banished from death. So whenever you die, say a random orc kills you, and his name's Throg. Throg kills you.
He will rank up in the army and become a captain, and then
become Throg the Impaler or something.
Yeah, he gets a sweet title and upgrades and armor and cool weapons.
And he becomes stronger the more he kills you or does hunting missions or power struggles, stuff like that. So it's really cool because the world kind of grows around you. And it's awesome. That's what really makes it like a cool battle whenever you're up against them. So it's really awesome like that. Probably the pinnacle of it is the ability to infiltrate Sauron's army through this ability you get later on in the game called branding. You basically use your wraith abilities, your pimp hand, to slap a bitch who is the orcs, and make them your own and demand your money.
Yeah.
And
because they're in your debt, they have to fight for you.
Honestly, you scare them so much. The line of dialogue that Celebrimbor gives is that the orcs were a mockery of the elves created by the first Dark Lords, and they were meant to be controlled completely by fear. Fear of their master, of course, who in this turn is you. Yeah. And that's awesome. That's really cool. And I'm glad they stuck with lore to reinforce gameplay, and everything collides and becomes awesome. And on that note, we're going to move to the overall experience. For me, this is just an awesome addition to the already vast amount of Middle-earth lore. I mean, you have Lord of the Rings, you have The Hobbit, you have the Silmarillion, you have the Lost Chronicles or stuff like that. And now you also have Shadow of Mordor. You know, it's even if people choose not to include this as canon for Middle-earth's tales, I do, because it respects the franchise so deeply, and it really just uses all of those little points and references and cameos to bring everything together.
For me, not knowing as much as you about the Middle-earth lore.
Few do.
Well, I haven't. But I still had like a base, you know.
Like when you see Gollum, you're not like, what the fuck is that?
Ew, dude, what the hell?
Get away!
Yeah, I know. Like,
Master, he wants the precious.
Yeah, I can do a Gollum impression too, so.
It's not bad.
I've seen the movies enough.
Like, I understood what's going on and stuff. Like, obviously, I didn't get all the subtle, like, hints or what have you as much as him. But I still thought it was a good game. The gameplay, again, I kind of touch and go with me, but I did enjoy it. If you don't know much about the lore, I would say watch the movies, read the books.
Yeah.
I mean, even just like search it online a bit. That seems kind of
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Do that. I mean, at least know something. Our final thoughts on the game. I mean, I say get it. For any hardcore Lord of the Ring fan, get the game. I mean, you're going to enjoy the shit out of this game. It's awesome. Filled with just little things that really bring it, tie in, because it takes place in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, so it really just helps get us an idea of what things were like, even if you don't accept Talion as a character or anything. It really just puts you in place of where things were at during that time period, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, if you don't know anything about the game, like Chuck said,
it's interesting. Like,
if you don't know anything about the lore, I mean, get informed on that. Read the books, watch the movies. It's worth your time if you're into the fantasy genre. This literally, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were the quintessential fantasy. It started it all. I would wait to get the game because
till you know more about the lore, because
don't buy it full price if you don't know anything about Lord of the Rings. Otherwise, I mean, if you know about Lord of the Rings and you're a fan, you're going to enjoy this. So buy it for full price. Give them the support they deserve, because this game has had some very well crafted moments. I mean, the whole thing comes together very well. Get it on PC if you can, because it's only $49.99 on PC on Steam. So that's really awesome. And you can crank the graphics up to ultra, which I heard are just ridiculous. I heard it's crazy. If you have a high-end gaming rig, crank up those graphics and just sit back and enjoy, because the visuals are spectacular. Even on PS4, it looks really good. So that's our idea of Shadow of Mordor. We want to hear yours. So go ahead.
Talk. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Talk, like, are we wrong?
Yeah. Did we get it? Did we get it wrong? Was I wrong?
Let us know.
We want to
comment, subscribe, like.
Do what you got to do.
What do you want us to review next? A movie, a game? Let us know.
Our next plans as far as reviews go, we're gonna have an anger rant coming up after this.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna bring them out in succession here, because there's some things we got to talk about that we aren't too happy about. If you know what I'm saying. We're going to start doing some Magic the Gathering stuff. Me, Chuck, and others. We are big fans of Magic the Gathering, and the new set Cons of Tarkir is out, and we would very much like to. We're going to start maybe cracking open some boxes and playing some sealed. which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then we also want to get started on this new segment called the Nostalgia Factor, which
I'm very excited.
yeah,
very excited
we're
for
going to be
it.
reviewing older school games, stuff that we grew up with, maybe doing some Let's Plays of them and stuff like that, and you'll hear some commentary from us. So, yeah, we're going to get that started and just stick with Couch Talk. As always, follow us at Talk Couch. Check out our live streams. We'll be coming to you this weekend, maybe even tonight a little bit. Twitch.tv/couch_talk.
We'll probably be doing some
Diablo and maybe a little bit of Destiny.
Yeah.
I might hop on. Maybe we'll see. But as always, join the couch and let's get this talk started.
Thanks for watching.